Well, let's get to it. Let's get to what is widely considered the most underwhelming WrestleMania of all time. Now, I did a little research. There's very little differing opinion when it comes to WrestleMania 27. I saw some people that didn't really care for the Thunderdome WrestleMania that occurred during the pandemic, and I think you gotta leave that off on its own, man. You can't account for that.
Right.
That's something that I think we'll only ever see at that particular time. So I don't even measure that really up to anything, to be quite honest with you. I think there were some good matches, and I think it's just always going to feel weird and pandemic-y and just off because of it was literally held in the NXT arena there. So um but WrestleMania 27 was the very first WrestleMania that I ever attended. My buddy bought a ticket and was kind enough to tell me, because I was broke and this was like either I was in college or near the end of college and maybe just finished college. I remember driving to Atlanta. So I think I had finished college, drove to Atlanta for this thing. And, you know, when it's your first WrestleMania, if you've ever, I mean, your first WWE event, you know how hyped you are to be at a
Oh, absolutely.
WWE live event. So this being my first WrestleMania, absolutely hyped. Um, I enjoyed the experience of WrestleMania and being there. I will say it is very difficult to gauge what everyone else thinks about that particular event until you're kind of out of there. You know what I mean? So in my head, I'm having a good time at this thing. I get out of there. Everybody, not so much. I think everybody watching at home did not really enjoy this WrestleMania. What about yourself?
So I'm looking at like the match card. I remember this vaguely, and some of these matches don't look terrible. But then I also look at like the core, like what the hell is that? Or Vladimir
Mhm.
Koskov. Like there's just some like you. Was this did Daniel Bryan lose like really quick in this match, or was this an actual match?
So it ended up being a no contest there in that lumberjack match for the WWE United States Championship, and it ended up going 4 minutes and 19 seconds. And so I've
Wow.
got all of this up in front of me. Yeah. Somehow that this turned into a battle royal, and I say that because Sheamus and Daniel Bryan ending in that no contest, and then the Great Khali then won some sort of 23-man battle royal by eliminating Sheamus, who was just in the match prior. So I
Jesus.
I was there and don't don't
Jesus.
remember
What are
that
you
match.
doing?
I,
God.
yeah, not the best. So here's let me just break a little bit of this down, right?
Yeah.
So I've said before that this is, I actually got to see Edge defeat Alberto Del Rio, and I'm pretty sure this was Edge's last match before having to go out there and drop the title and retire.
Right. I
Pretty
remember
sure.
that. Yeah.
So that match actually lasted 11 minutes. Okay, 11 minutes 6 seconds. Cody Rhodes defeats Rey Mysterio by pinfall. Cody Rhodes beating. Okay, if Cody Rhodes beat Rey Mysterio today, no problem. Cody Rhodes back then, smoke and mirrors. Cody Rhodes defeating Rey Mysterio. Wowza, that match almost 12 minutes. Then you get Big Show, Kane, Kofi Kingston, and Santino Marella
Mm.
defeating the core in a minute and 32 seconds. Why would you ever have a 90-second match at WrestleMania?
How does that happen?
No idea. The Sheamus Daniel Bryan match where he bro kicks him and wins in 17 seconds, cool. Shock and
Okay.
awe, wins the title. Fine with that. But 90 seconds of an 8-man tag?
Yeah,
What are we
this is
doing?
garbage.
It's not good. It's not good. Uh, then you did actually get a banger. You had a couple of bangers in this show.
The Jerry King Waller match.
No, no, that was not the banger. Randy Orton defeating CM Punk in a near 15-minute match. The Nexus was banned from ringside, so uh, that's still playing a part in that angle. You had Michael Cole defeating Jerry Lawler by disqualification. You did get Stone Cold as the referee there, so obviously you kind of needed Stone Cold to be there to add in a little bit of drama, a little bit of fun, a little bit of antics, right? I unfortunately, my seats were in the realm where I was behind the coal mine a little
Oh
bit. It's like,
no, no.
I wasn't like directly behind it, but it was like objectively just intrusive to my view a little bit. So the coal mine was still going there. Now, then we got Maddie. Then we got 30 damn minutes of the Undertaker and Triple H. Uh, clearly, clearly far and away best match of the night. This is also the time where you had Undertaker coming out to Johnny Cash, which I thought was really, really cool. I enjoyed that era of him coming out to Johnny Cash. So, but then you had to have some filler. You got a six person mixed tag team match. John Morrison, Snooki, and Trish Stratus defeating Dolph Ziggler and Lay Cool. This thing lasted a whopping 3 minutes. And then you got the title match to close us out. The Miz defeating John Cena in about a 15-minute deal. It was wonky because not that the Miz won and not that he beat John Cena, but I just remember like I think it was at a point where like John should have won and some referee or something didn't come down, this and that. The Rock hits a rock bottom on John, and then the Miz gets the pin. So it was just obviously it goes on to set up right,
Right.
Rock and John Cena, but it was just a wonky way to end the match.
Yeah, I think you could have. I don't know. And hindsight 2020, it worked out for Cena Rock, but I think the Miz lost a lot of thunder in this feud. Like what could have been with a main event run, and the Miz deserved it. Like he was on fire back then, but it just I don't know. Like you said, it doesn't. The Alberto Del Rio Edge match, like all I remember about Alberto is he comes out in the limo
The
and
limo, the entrance, and
Ricardo
Ricardo
Rodriguez,
Rodriguez.
Alberto
Yeah.
da, 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 Rio.
Oh, you got a good little R roll there. I like
Yeah,
it.
rolling
I
R's,
like it.
baby. But yeah,
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
kind of meh. Like you said, The Rock being the host, you expect a lot of The Rock too. Like,
Mhm.
and I vaguely remember a lot of The Rock. At least in this era, I don't think he was fully invested at the point of what should have been a WrestleMania with his appearance.
Yeah, it was different, and I mean, again, it's so interesting when you're there and you're experiencing it live. And I will definitely say at that point I was not on my phone. I was just invested in the moment. And so I do think if you go to a WWE show and you are just invested in the moment, no matter how the product plays out at the end of the night, I do think you just enjoy your experience habitually more just because you're sitting there and taking in what's in front of you. Um, that is, I will say that is my suggestion going to any WWE live show is just sit there and enjoy. That's what
Yeah,
you're paying your hard earned
don't
money
critique
for.
it. Like you're
Yeah, don't
there
sit.
in the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just it's just crazy to see what. This was 27, and you've got Triple H, Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Randy Orton, CM Punk, John Cena. You had a lot of Edge. You have a ton of potential on this card to really stand out. But yeah, it just didn't work out.
I think this WrestleMania though sets a good example as to the type of matches that you just shouldn't have on a WrestleMania card. And I think ultimately that's why it's kind of bemoaned, right? Is, when you do have celebrities now, we're talking about Logan Paul, who actually, takes this pretty serious and is a really good in ring performer. You had Bad Bunny have a match, very good in ring performer when he had his match. You didn't get anything out of Snooki. You know what I
No,
mean? Like you just don't need that sort of celebrity appearance, especially in the ring in a match when they're clearly not training, when they're clearly not ready for this, when they're clearly not adding anything to the card. You don't need an 8-man tag team match that ends in 90 seconds. You need matches with build. You need matches with story. You need matches that are going to take the crowd, especially the live crowd, on a ride. I know that WWE programming is meant for the viewer at home. Totally get that. But you also have to invest the crowd. If you invest the crowd that's there in front of you, it's going to translate to what everybody's seeing at home.
absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, what could have been, but I'm glad this started your first, like, regardless, it's in Atlanta. It's in the South. You're getting a WrestleMania. Was this at Georgia Dome or where was it?
Yep, Georgia Dome.
So the crowd had to be hot for just having WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to bring up one thing about this. Now, I've said that I've been to this WrestleMania 31, and then WrestleMania 32, or 32. And I'm just curious, Maddie. I saw